Hello, good afternoon, my dear students. Actually, we are going to write the NEET 2026 exam in just few days. We are not having even a one complete month. So, what we have to do first, I hope that you all are very well prepared for the exam. You are doing very hard work for that. And here, if you have solved the all question paper in the previous year like 2025 paper, 24 paper, and all the previous year like 13 years paper, if you have solved, so in that situation also, if you have not met the 2025 question papers and then very deeply, so in that consent, it will be difficult for you to understand that what type of the question paper could be there in the 2026, because we all have suffered in the 2025 biology question paper, that it was surprisingly little bit difficult question. Difficult in the sense it was not in that sense what we have expected, right? So in that situation, what we have to do, we have to focus more on the previous year question paper. We have to solve the questions. We have to make the question practice, and very important and most important thing is we have to read the NCERT very carefully, very keenly. Okay, so let us start for that. So let us do the question for the NEET 2026. We are here to solve the question paper for the 2025 paper, so we can get the idea that what type of the question would be there in the exam. Okay, we are not expecting deeply. We are just focusing on the question paper, that what type of the level could be there in the exam, and we have not to panic for that. Okay, so let us do let us start for this, and again we will see some other question paper in the next part of the video. Okay, so let us start with a good split here. That question number 91 is the complex 2 in the mitochondrial electron transport chain is also known as, means in the complex 2 we are having the four complex 1 2 3 4, and then ATP synthase was there in the inner membrane of the mitochondria. Okay, so the complex 2 name they are asking, the name of the complex 2 was what was the name of the complex 2, that is what they are asking. We have seen it was the succinate dehydrogenase. The work for you is what is the name of the complex 1, what was the name of the complex 3, and what was the name of the complex 4, and then the ATP synthase as I told you already. So complex 1, 3 and 4 was the, what was the name, just write in the comment, so I can understand that whether you are reading or not. Okay, so I will give you the answer in the comments itself. Second, I told you already, succinate dehydrogenase as given in the question. Okay, next is the question number 92. The polymerase chain reaction amplifies the DNA following the equation, that was a 2 is to power n. So if the number of the PCR we know, so for example it was a 2 times, so 2 is to power 2, so it will be 2 into 2, 2 2s are 4, means total 4 cycles would be there. So from this equation we can understand the complete PCR for the DNA polymerase chain. Okay, next is question number 93. What are the potential drawback they are asking, means what was the negative conditions in adoption of the IVF method. First of all, it was very costly as we have seen, but how it could be the fertility risk to the mother. It could be fertility risk, it could be the risky for the fetus itself, because we are growing it into the laboratory. But how it could be very risky for the mother, that is the situation. So it could not be the mother, it could be the fetus. So A should not be there. Okay, and if A is not there, so we can choose the answer very easily, right? So it should be the first one. But let's see other options also. The expensive instrument and the reagent, that is absolutely true, as I told you that IVF is very expensive. So because of that, every couple are not focusing on this IVF. Husband and wife necessary for being donor, obviously that is necessary, but not cannot only husband can do, only wife can do. In the IVF other donor also can participate, but it is necessary that parent should be donator. Then the last adoption of the orphanage, it's good, and not available in India. No, it is available in India, but in the choice they have not given about the possibility that early embryo does not survive. It could be because we are growing it in the laboratory, we are growing it into laboratory artificially. So if we are doing it artificially or manually, so it could be fatal for the fetus. Okay, so here the answer is in front of you, and I hope it would be clear to you. The next question is 94. What is the name of the blood vessel that carries the deoxygenated blood from the body to the heart of the frog? We have seen from the body to the heart of the frog, or either into the human, means from the heart. We have seen the blood vessel was coming from the, like this is the blood vessel which is going to the lungs. Okay, and from the lungs what is coming? The blood is coming here, so here will be the aorta. It is giving the blood to the different parts of the body. Okay, so like this. So this is the aorta. It is giving the blood to the tissues. Okay, tissues or the systems of the body. So if it giving the blood to the tissue, so in that case we can say the tissue will give the deoxygenated blood, DCO2 blood, to the body. So how it is going? It will go with the help of the vena cava to the right atrium. Okay, and in the frog also it is the same, but in the frog there is one different thing. Then on the dorsal surface there was a one T-shaped structure. Okay, T-loop structure, which is known as a sinus venosus. It is present dorsally. It will collect the blood from different parts of the body, and finally it will donate this deoxygenated blood to the right atrium. And then the process was same, but in the frog they was having the three-chambered heart. Okay, frog is the amphibian. They are having the three-chambered heart. Okay, in which one ventricle is present only. Two atrium plus one ventricle. So because of that we can say sinus venosus will give the deoxygenated blood to the right atrium. It was the sinus venosus. Okay, and this sinus venosus is present dorsally. But on the right, on the ventral side, in the frog, on the ventral side, there was the connection of conus arteriosus. This was the conus arteriosus, also known as the truncus arteriosus. Okay, it is conus arteriosus I am writing here, which will give the mixed blood, because ventricle is receiving the oxygenated and deoxygenated both blood. So it will give the deoxygenated blood to the tissues. It will give the mixed blood to the tissues, and again from the tissues the deoxygenated or mixed blood will receive, and again the DCO2 blood is giving from the tissues to the sinus venosus, like this, and then from here again it will give the blood to the right atrium, and the process will be same in the frog also. But in human body little bit different because of the four chambered. Human body is having the four chamber heart, but in the frog they are having the three chamber heart, and the two different thing, the sinus venosus as well as the conus arteriosus. In frog only we are having the sinus venosus, but in human body we are not having sinus venosus, because we are having already the complete process, that is the right atrium to ventricle, then by the pulmonary artery it will reach to the lungs, and from the lungs purified blood will come to the left atrium, then finally to the left ventricle, and via the aorta it will reach to the tissues, and so on. Okay, so I hope it will be clear. So the 94 answer will be the vena cava. They have not given the sinus venosus, otherwise we could write here the sinus venosus. If they have not given here, okay, we can choose the vena cava. If they would have given the sinus venosus, so we should choose the sinus venosus only. Okay, the next is question number 95. Which of the following statement refers to the reductionist biology? Reductionist biology means to reduce the things, like from the organ we have to reach to the tissues, and from the tissues we have to reach to the cell, and from the cell we will reach to the nucleus, and from the nucleus we will reach to the DNA molecule, and finally the bases and all. So this is the hierarchy, no? So from here to here, so we have, if we need to study about the DNA, so for the DNA we have to reach up to the DNA by crossing these all limits. By crossing from the organ to the tissues means we are reducing the terms, then only we can reach to the finally to the molecular level. So in that condition we have to break down the physical barrier, we have to break down the chemical barrier, and then finally we will reach into the DNA level. Okay, so this is just an example for reaching to the molecule level. So here the reductionist biology, in the sense that would be on the physical and chemical approaches, not only for the physical or only for the biological or only for the behavioral. So single approach we cannot follow. Okay, so the direct answer could be there, that is the first option. Okay, I hope this would be much clear to you. The next is question number 96 is, in the RNA world, RNA is considered the first genetic material evolved to carry out the essential life processes. That is absolutely correct. In the evolution chapter we have seen it. And then they are saying that RNA act as a genetic material and also act as a catalyst for some important biochemical reactions in the living system. Being reactive, RNA is unstable. RNA is unstable because it is not having the deoxyribose sugar, in which the second prime carbon on the sugar was having the OH group in the ribose sugar, and in the deoxyribose sugar we are having the oxygen on hydrogen only at the 2 prime carbon of the sugar. Okay, so that is why it will become stable. That is why the DNA is very stable and the RNA level are not that much stable. Not that much stable. So first statement is correct only. First one will be correct. And okay, next is the DNA evolved from the RNA and is more stable genetic material. Yes, as I told you, its double helical strands being complementary resist changes by evolving the repairing mechanism. Absolutely correct. So both the statements are correct. The next question is, the epiphytes that are growing on the mango branch is an example of which of the following? That is memory based question. We should know that is a commensalism. Then next is the 98. Find from the statement given below, choose the correct option. The eukaryotic ribosomes are 80S and prokaryotic ribosomes are 70S. We knows very well about the ribosomes. We have seen that ribosomes in the pro and the eukaryote will be different. Okay, like the subunit will be different. In the eukaryotes we are having the 80S ribosome. Eukaryotes we are having the 80S ribosomes, and in the 80S how that is segregated, that 40S and the 60S. Then you will say, then ma'am it would be the 100S, then how it could be 80S? 80S means while these two subunits will become combined, they will lose the energy of the 20S. So then how much will be remaining? 80S will be remaining. Okay. Then prokaryote we have seen. In the prokaryotes we are having the 70S ribosomes. 70S means then how it would become 70S will become segregated. So 70S would be the two subunit. Okay, the two subunit of 30S and the 50S. Okay, 50S and 30S. Okay, so based on that we can say again it would become 80, but 10S subunit will become less while they will become combined, like small subunit and the large subunit. It would become 50S, it would become 30S. But when they were segregated, it was become 30S or the 50S. But when they will combine, that will lose the energy of the 10S. So now while combining, it will become 70S. Okay, so like that same occurring into the eukaryotes also. I hope you have studied into the preparation while studying. So A would be correct here. Okay, the first one is correct. Each ribosome has two subunits. Yes, as I told you, and two subunits of 80S ribosomes are 60S and 40S, while the 70S subunit for the 50S and the 30S. Correct. That is also true. And the two subunit of 80S ribosomes having 60 and 20, not 20. And in the second one they are saying 60 and 30. No. So A, B and C are correct. So first option would be the answer. The next is, which one of the following is an example of ex situ conservation? Memory based question again, it would be the zoological or the botanical gardens. Then primary source of energy in the ecosystem is the solar energy. Absolutely correct. And the rate of the production of organic matter during the photosynthesis in an ecosystem is called as a net primary productivity, or either the GPP, gross primary productivity. It should be GPP. So first one is correct, second will be incorrect. Next is emphysema, angina pectoris, glomerulonephritis and tetany. These disorders they have given from the human physiology chapters, and especially from the breathing. This emphysema given in the breathing chapter, angina pectoris from the body fluid, glomerulonephritis from the excretive product, and tetanus from the locomotion. So if you have studied in that, very simply you can choose the answer. Okay, so what should be the A? A is the inflammation in the A should be the 2 here. Why? Because alveolar wall become damaged and decrease the respiratory surface. Okay, angina pectoris, very simple, acute chest pain. Glomerulonephritis, inflammation, and tetany would be the due to the low calcium in the body fluid. So D should be 1, A should be 2. Okay, A should be 2 and B should be 3 here. So given in this fourth option. Okay, I hope it would be clear. Then next is question number 102. The two statement assertion reason based is the wind and water pollinate the flower are not very colorful and do not produce the nectar. The flower which are pollinating from the wind and the water are not very colorful and do not produce the nectar, actually they are saying. So if it is not, if it is correct, that is why, because of the wind and the water, they are not needed to attract any other animal. Okay, so if it is not needed to attract any animal, so why to produce a nectar and why to produce the color? So because it is pollinating with the help of the natural substances, natural things like the wind and the water. So that is why they are not colorful to attract and they are not giving the reward to the other animals like the nectar. So because of that we should say it is correct. The flowers produce an enormous amount of the pollen grain in the wind and the water pollinate the flowers. Absolutely correct. Is it explaining that the reason which I told you, there is no need to attract the other animal for the pollination. So based on that we can say there is no need to attract the other animal. So why to produce a color? Why to produce a reward? As a reward the flower will give the nectar to the honeybee or to the insect. So because of the nectar, because of that reward, the animal will come to the flower and take the nectar. If it is not pollinating from the with the help of the animal or with the help of the insect, then why to produce a nectar? Okay, so based on that we can say it is not explaining this thing which I told you, it is not explaining in this reason. So they both are correct but not the correct explanation. Okay, the next is which of the following is an example of non-distilled alcoholic beverages produced by the yeast? Again memory based question is there, that is a beer, wine and the beer. Then next is 104. In the floral formula, this symbol stands for the actinomorphic. It is for actinomorphic, not for the zygomorphic which is given in this statement. Okay, so first one is incorrect and second floral formula stands for the actinomorphic nature of the flower and G is superior ovary, that is correct. First is incorrect, second will be correct. The next is the streptokinase produced by the bacterium streptokinase is used for what? So it is used for the removing the clots and the blood from the blood vessel. The next, which chromosome in the human gene has the highest number of the chromosome? In the human gene, the number of the chromosome will be very much high in the chromosome number first. Y is the smallest chromosome, very smaller one. It is just like if it is a X chromosome, then there will be this will be the Y chromosome, this much small length of the Y chromosome. Okay, and X are having the 2 chromosomes, it is not having the smallest number, highest number of the genes. That will not be, it is also memory based question. The next is 107. Which of the following statement is correct about the location of the male frog copulatory pad? Male are having the 2 morphological differences from the female. Okay, there are other 2 morphological differences. Morphological differences. What was that? The first one is copulatory pad. They are having the copulatory pad on the first digit of the right finger in the forelimbs, not in the hind limbs, in the forelimb. In the male frog, they are having the copulatory pad on the first digit of the finger. Okay, and second is the male will produce the turtle sound. We have seen that sound because of the vocal cord, which is present only into the males but not into the females. Okay, so because of that, these are the 2 morphological differences. So where it was present, this male copulatory pad, as I told you there, so the first digit of the forefinger. Then which of the following phytohormones promote the nutrient mobilization which help in delay of the leaf senescence in the plants? Leaf senescence will be delayed by the cytokinin. Ethylene will help into the ripening of the fruit. Okay, abscisic acid help in the senescence. Okay, as well as it is helping into the cell division and growth. Gibberellin help into the growth or the length of the plant. Okay, so here the cytokinin function they have given. The next is, by trying to find out the characteristic of the newly found animal, a researcher did the histology of the adult animal and observed a cavity with the presence of the mesodermal tissues towards the body wall, but no mesodermal tissues was observed toward the alimentary canal. They are saying they are having the alimentary canal. Okay, so there is a cavity. Okay, so that cavity is not towards the body wall. Mesodermal tissues was observed towards the alimentary canal. Okay, mesodermal tissues was present towards the body canal, but not towards the body wall. Okay, so this was happened into the pseudocoelomate. Schizocoelomate and the eucoelomate, they was the property of the complete true coelomates. That is the property of coelomate, true coelomate, which is not given in this statement, in this experiment. Acoelomate means the absence of the coelom, so this is also not the answer. Spongocoelomate is not there, so we will go with the second option. Then next is the question number 10, the head, middle piece, acrosome and tail. He knows very well the sperm is helping, sperm will move with the help of the tail, and the tail is having the energy because of the mitochondria which is present into the middle piece. Acrosomes are having the enzymes which will help. Acrosome is having the enzyme which will help in the penetration at the in the embryonic in the egg cell. Okay, so like this will be the head region, neck region, and here will be the tail, like this. Okay, so this will become the tail. So here will be the mitochondrial arrangement in the neck region. Okay, like this in the zigzag pattern. Okay, like this, and here will be the genetic material, and this will be the acrosomic part. This is the acrosome in which the enzymes will be filled, and these enzymes will help into the penetration. There will be the head region, this will be the neck region, and here it is the tail. Okay, or we can say simply the flagell. Okay, so here let's see the matching. The head should be matched with the head should have the genetic material. Here the genetic material, DNA or the RNA, everything would be available. DNA will be there, which is haploid, Okay, so here it would be the haploid. I'll write here n numbers. Oh, so head is having the genetic material. A should be fourth here and here. Then B, middle piece. Middle piece is having the energy, means the mitochondrial arrangement. Okay, so the B should be the 3. So B should be 3 here given in both option. It's okay. Tail is having the sperm motility. The D should be 2. So D should be 2 here given, and the answer is here. Okay, so next we'll see in the next part. Remaining question we are going to see in the next part. Okay, thank you.